So a little bit harder than what we did yesterday, but same idea. Anybody know what the least common denominator would be on number 1? Okay, attention up here, please. So I heard a 6. I heard a 6n. It's 6n. So we need both the 6 and the n. And so I know this is the first time we've had both of those and the denominator like that for you. So we want to get our denominators the same. So what do we multiply the numerator and denominator by on this first one? 2n. And then what about on this one? The middle one? 6. And what about this one? 10. So we get 8n over 6n minus 42 over 6n equals n over 6n. Now what next? Multiply by that least common denominator to get rid of those fractions. So then denominators now go away, and we have 8n minus 42 is equal to n. So we want to get our, we want to solve for this. What would be the fastest way to solve this? Minus n, not minus n, minus, that's what you said, minus 8n, good. Because we want our variables on one side and our number on the other. So again, this way is the fastest. And we get n is 6. What about number 2? What's our least common denominator on that one? 3k? Okay, so I'm going to show you another way to do it. You do not have to do it this way, but some of you might like this way because it's fewer steps. So when we know what that least common denominator is, what we can do is multiply both sides by that least common denominator right away. Okay, so we would be multiplying this side by 3k and this side by 3k. So essentially, when we're multiplying this left side by 3k, we're multiplying this one by 3k and this one by 3k. So what cancels here on this one is what? The 3. So we're left with k times 1 or k. What cancels here on this one? The k. So we're left with 6. And then what cancels on this one? The 3k. So we're left with 13. So, you know, you have to end up doing some thinking on this one. So it's not necessarily the way that most students understand it, but I wanted to at least show it on one of them. I will do it this way on the rest of them. This way, I think more students understand. Would you like me to show it the other way on this one? No, you're good. Okay. So what's the fastest way to do it on number 3? There's a faster way. Yes, cross multiplication is the fastest. If you see it, I know it's hard. Sometimes you don't see it. So we get 8x equals 5 times 2x minus 6. So 10x minus 30. What next there to solve that? Add what? So let's get our x's on one side and the number on the other. There'll be fewer steps. Subtract 10x. Does that make sense? But that is not wrong. If you subtract 8x, it would just be more steps. And we get x is negative 15. Did you have a question? It is positive 15. Thank you. That's what it should be, positive 15. Thank you, Kylie. Okay, moving on to the next example. I'll wait till everybody's done. Writing it down. Okay. Okay, this one's a little different. What's my least common denominator on this one? Can we factor anything, any denominator here? There is a denominator that factors. Which one? Yes, this would be the same as x times x plus 4. So what's the least common denominator? No. So it's going to be x times x plus 4 or x squared plus 4x. We don't know what x is. So that could be 5. So then this would make this 9. So 5, we would have to do the 5 times 9, 45. So we have to just multiply them together, the x and the x plus 4. So then the LCD is x times x plus 4. So what do we multiply the top and bottom of this one by? X plus 4. And then this one, we already have the denominator. We don't multiply by anything, right? And then what about the 5 over x? X plus 4 again. Okay, so I'm going to write it all out. If you wanted to multiply as you write, that's fine. And then my next step. What's the next step on this? Multiply by that least common denominator, the x times x plus 4 on both sides. So our denominators go away. And we get sorry, I wrote that wrong. There needs to be an x plus 4 here. And what would we do next? We've got some like terms on one side, don't we? We want to add those together first. So 4x plus 16 equals 5x plus 21. And then what next? Subtract 4x. Get our x's on one side and the numbers on the other. And we get negative 5. Okay, temporarily, I'm going to skip number 5. I want you to do this one as a U try, number 6. So skip to number 6 and do that one as a U try. And then I'll come back to number 5. Yep. Mm-hmm. You do, Howard? Yeah, good job. Yeah, good. So this one, what is not in that denominator? It's in the other two. So if we factor that a squared minus 5a, what is that when we factor it? What's common in both? The letter that's common in both? Yeah, and then this would be a times a. Yeah, so that's your least common denominator. So that middle one you have to multiply by, yeah, a minus 5 on the top. Okay, so we would get 12 on this one. Questions on that? Okay, I'm going to talk about number 5. What's last one? What's the least common denominator on number 5? X. So we want to on this one, we're going to multiply by x over x. And then this one, the x is already there. And then we're going to multiply by x over x. Does that make sense? So then we get x squared over x plus 16 over x equals 10x over x. What next? Yeah. We're going to multiply by x. Ira? So we get x squared plus 16 equals 10x. And so then we're going to subtract 10x from both sides. How did I know I needed to subtract 10x from both sides? What told me that in that problem? The x squared tells us we have to get it in standard form to be able to solve it. So what multiplies to 16? That adds to negative 10. Yep. And we get 8 and 2. Okay, can I get somebody